Hello, everyone,
Hi,
and
everyone.
welcome to our standby travel webinar. Thank you for your participation today, and thank you for if you are watching later on. As you know, this webinar is recorded, so if you cannot watch it today, you will be able to watch it later. I would like to take this opportunity to wish to our colleagues from Québec, Joyeuse Saint-Jean à tout le monde.
Bonne
Aujourd'hui, c'est
Saint-Jean.
une journée importante. Alors, bonne Saint-Jean à tous. Vous allez sûrement avoir l'occasion d'écouter ce webinaire plus tard après la fête. Okay, today we want to take this opportunity. First, I want to tell you why we have chosen this topic. I saw some posts on Facebook that were wondering, with all the important issues that we have, example for the item that needs to be implemented and the cosmic radiation and everything. I agree with you, but I want you to know that we are working very hard on all these subjects. You will see today later on, I will send you my part 3 of my bulletin. Finally, I almost had to rewrite it because things are going so fast and things are changing. But just to let you know, on the cosmic radiation side, we're coming with lots of information. We've been working with the company, and you'll see we have been working on all these files. So this is like a fun webinar, and the reason why we chose that because it's because we are receiving so many questions at the component, at the local basis. We have close to 1,000 flight attendants who have joined this year, and they don't know about their passes. And as you know, we are doing these presentation, the new hire presentation, and it's always the fun part at the end when they want to know about the passes and nobody know really how they're working. So what we want to do today is to give you information on all the passes, especially the new passes, the thank you passes, and also the special pass when you work on Christmas or New Year's, and also the fun tips that we have for you today. Eventually, we will send you a document. I don't expect you to write all the information that we will give you today, but we will definitely send you a document with all that information and with the links also at the end of this presentation. So I want to, before we start, I want to talk because I want to explain the system. As you know, there is a chat bar on the left side. So on the left side of your screen, you will be able to type in questions. And at the end of the presentation, we will answer all your questions. So one of the questions that I'm expecting the most is the B1 pass. Well, as you know, we have filed a grievance. We have filed a grievance on the B1 passes, and this grievance is still active. It was supposed to be heard in February 17, but unfortunately we didn't have enough time at that day to be able to hear this grievance. So this grievance is still active. We do not have a date at the moment, but as soon as we will have a date with our arbitrator, we will send you the information and we'll let you know. Rest assured that this is something that is dear to everybody. And recently, on a positive side, Edith and I met with the Council of Union last month. And this is a subject that we are starting to talk, So hopefully, in the future, we will be able to find a resolution. But having said that, the grievance is still active. So, as you know, we're doing this webinar. This webinar seems to be very popular. We've been doing many so far. We did some on the reserve, bidding reserve, on health and safety. We did some on the pension. And yesterday, every month, also, we are communicating with the local vice president, your executives. We try to keep the communication tight. And also, we communicate with our ambassadors once a month. And every month with you, we're choosing a different subject. So today, let's start with the travel privilege. So as you know, we had the thank you passes. And these thank you passes were for the thank you pass for signing an agreement of 10 years. So these passes are in effect for the life of 10 years up to 2025. And I don't know if you know that these passes, I just discovered that recently, that these special thank you passes allows you to invite anyone from your family profile, but there's also a companion box within the portal that you could invite a companion. And one of the things that we found out at the last meeting with the labor, the Council of Union, is that the pilots really like our C1 pass because the B1 pass doesn't allow them to have a companion. So interestingly enough, that we were surprised by that, but it's pretty cool. I had personally had the chance to bring a friend, and I was lucky enough to get business class. So it's something I was caught by surprise. I didn't know about that.
So can I suggest maybe if we start by talking about what do the letters mean or the priority? So then when we launch into the C1s and the C2s, then everybody knows exactly what we're talking
Sure.
about. So the passes start with a C, which, so the C1s would be a higher priority than the C2s. And
Yeah.
then obviously a B1 would be higher priority than a C, and an A pass, I guess
It's executive. There's it's a very good point, Edith. We are structured like a military background. You know, I always say that to our presentation with the new hires. There's the B, the A, the C. The A are the executive, you know, the highest rank. The B are the management, and the C are the other unionized group. And we are part of the C. And normally we are traveling on a C2 priority as an employee. And these special passes, the thank you pass and the Christmas pass, are a C1 priority. So the C1 priority, if I may say, allows you to be upgraded in business class. The C2 priority are based on seniority basis. The C1 priority override the C2. So if, for example, just to give you an example, if you're traveling on a C2 with 25 years of seniority and someone with 4 years of seniority is using the C1 Gold Pass, well, the C1 Pass will go ahead of the C2. But again, based on seniority in that category, and also the fact that these special pass are C1 J9, well, you will have business class is seats available.
So after the slash is when it speaks to you having access to or are eligible for business class or not. So if your pass is a C2/Y10, that means you're not going to be put on standby for open seats in J. So if it says /J, that's when you are eligible for business class. So that's what the letters mean, the priority, the first letters, and the second letters after the slash mean your eligibility for business class or not.
Excellent. Okay, so let's get back to the thank you pass. Well, first, the thank you pass is a pass that is valid for 1 year. We each receive 2 passes, and you cannot carry them over. So either you use it or you don't. If you don't, they will be renewed in January. Basically, they will be reloaded into your profile as in January next year.
So the thank you pass is a C1. So that means that your C1 will go ahead of somebody who's using their regular travel privileges, which are C2, and then /J09. The J means that you are eligible for an upgrade, but the letters after the 9 or 10 are for coding purposes only, so you're either eligible or not for J class. So your thank you passes are C1 J09.
And you cannot carry them over. The Christmas and New Year's pass were something that we have negotiated for those of you who were working over Christmas, either as a block holder or on reserve. You would be given a pass for each day. So if you work on Christmas, and New Year's, you will get 2 passes added to your profile, and these passes can be carried over. So if you don't use it within that first year, they will be added to your profile. Any of the C1 passes cannot be carried over into your retirement, to the exception that in 2015, we had a special agreement with the company that if any of you were to travel to work on Christmas and New Year's in 2015, you had 1 year in 2016. If you were retiring, it was a special agreement that we were able to get so that you could use your C1 Christmas passes and New Year's over for 1 year. But normally, as soon as next year, if you are retiring in 2017, for example, you will not be able to carry over your Christmas and New Year's passes, C1. So make sure that you use these passes. They're the gold passes. They will give you privilege and probably standard upgrade in business class. Also, I was saying to people, you must learn to travel sometimes if you want to experience the business class, because business class seat Toronto Frankfurt, it's I would say above $5,000 return. So this is a huge privilege to be able to have that privilege from the employer, and I think it's also a great. I found personally that it's a great way to see what others are doing. You learn the service, how the service director is introducing himself, what they do. It's always it's a good learning. I think as a flight attendant or service director on the flight, and we observe while appreciating the service. So that's a great opportunity. But what I mean by that is that, let's say that you want to go in Paris, Toronto, Paris, and the flight is not open. Well, why don't you go Toronto, London, or Toronto, Zurich? For example, you don't necessarily have to go direct. Of course, the direct it's a beautiful privilege, but to experience business class, check the load, go online, check the load. What you have to make sure is that you will buy other passes on other carrier, and we're going to talk about that later. But you want to make sure that you buy passes. Let's say if the destination is Toronto, Paris, and it's not open, but it's wide open to London. So what you would have to do is to reserve your flight on Toronto, London on Air Canada, and make sure that you buy other passes on other airlines on British Airways, for example, to Paris. And, I'm going to show you some websites, but you have to look at ways to come back also, and especially when you travel in the summer in a very busy time. I say to people, make sure that you buy multiple tickets, make sure that you have the tickets with you. Now, the beauty of it is now everything is going electronically, so you'll be able to buy your tickets the day of. But before, if you remember, we had to buy tickets. We were carrying a pile of tickets, but at least now you have your reservation. And so to give you an example, if the destination was Paris, then you would go on London, because the London is the flight that is open, go to London, buy British Airways London to Paris. But let's say coming out on that C1 that the Zurich flight is open if you want to experience business class. Well, make sure that you go on Swiss Air, buy Paris Swiss Air, Zurich, Toronto. So, that's the way to, especially when you want to travel in the summer, you must make sure that you bring all kinds of possibility with you. And I will give you some website later on where you could check other travelers, and you could have an estimation of the load on other carriers also. There's a way to find that information.
Okay, so we're starting to have some questions on the sidebar. So we just want to remind you, if you have any questions, you can either say them live by unmuting your mic or by typing into the sidebar, and I'm going to keep monitoring them and bring up your questions whenever we have a chance. So.
Okay. So, thank you, Christmas Pass. We cover that the Christmas Pass will be loaded into your system in January 2016. It did mention about the the numbers, what it means to you. And as you know, another thing that was negotiated, not negotiated, but was given to us, it's the service fee. All the service fee has been waived for all cabin personnel past travel until March 31st, 2025. And that also include all your family profile. So that means your husband, spouses, dependent children, of course, the single employee, and the nominated partner also.
Oh, sorry. I just wanted to say we're really happy because we have a lot of commuters in our membership, and they're definitely seeing a difference in their service charges. We've had people report back that they're actually quite pleased that this was one of the features that we got because it saves them so much money. Although we still have to pay the airport improvement fees and taxes, but still, it's a significant part of their expenses to go to work, and it's appreciated. So thanks for the feedback, everyone.
No, thank you for that. And if we could eventually be able to remove the airport renovation fee, that would be awesome. Oh, by the way, no, I'm not going to talk about that because in terms of taxes, as you know, there was a webinar with the Minister Garneau last week. And I sent you an email. You'll see this afternoon in one of my bulletins, I have a link, and you will be able to see the post. And I participated into that webinar, and I told Mr. Garneau that, if he wants to help the airlines, well, because the question was, what would you do if you were in my shoes as a Minister of Transport? Well, one of the suggestions that I made was that, well, we should be reducing the airport taxes if we really want to help the airlines, because now we see more and more passengers that are Canadian citizens that are going in Detroit or not Florida, but Plattsburgh, to take cheap flight with the free parking. So hopefully he's going to listen. If we could reduce these taxes or any improvement taxes, that will have it will be really reducing our fee on our plane tickets. Okay, so as I was mentioning, also there's category A, category B, category C, and within the category C, there's the C1, the C2, the C3, the C4. The C3 is a priority when your parents are, your profile parents are traveling on their own, they go on a C3. And if they're traveling with the employee, they go under a C2. And the C4 and C5 are other carriers. It's the same way when we travel on other airline for us. Let's say you're buying a flight tickets on Lufthansa, an ID90 as an employee. Well, you will be at one of the lowest a priority. So it's the same for us. Employees have priority, the C2, then C3, the parent, and then the other carrier, if they want to board this flight, they will travel under a C4 or a C5. Okay. I'm sure I want to cover a bit of the portal. So to register your pass, you have to go under the portal under employee travel. Then in your profile, you will be able to see your profile, your travel history. You can click on my profile. You'll see how many passes you have. And under the travel history, you will have all your past history that you've been flying. And of course, we don't want to cover all the functionality of the system, but just to give you where you could find information. And under the news and policy, you will find all the agreements under the business travel. So the agreements for the Z fare, the general guideline rules and pricing, the OAL refund policy, and all the network and the information about the Z fare. So you will get this information if you click on news and policy and go under business travel. So I think everybody know, or you will learn if you're a new flight attendant, you will see that this is something that we learn pretty quickly, how to book flights. And the beauty of it now is that you're entering a world where everything is electronically. We don't even need a boarding pass anymore. You could send your boarding pass to your smartphone. But on the page where you could book for other, you will see other airline, and the main page of the employee travel, you will see other airline. And then that's where you will be able to launch the My ID Travel. And that's where you're going to get the other airlines that are part of this Zfare agreement. Okay, so once you book your flight, for example, once you book your flight tickets on other airline, you also have to register. You have to register yourself on flights, and there is websites for that. And you will find that information anyway on the Launch My ID Travel for other carrier. You will be able to see My ID Travel is FlyZ. And with FlyZ, you're able to book on Lufthansa, Thai Airways, Delta, Qantas, and much more airline. Sorry. So anyway, and on the ifcid90.com, don't worry about writing all of that. I will send it to you electronically. I will send you all the documents that I have prepared. You will be able to reserve on KLM, American Airlines, Alaska, United Airlines, and I will send you. We have a company code also and a password. I will send you that. But there's other very pertinent. There's other very pertinent website. You know, as you can imagine, you know the industry of staff travel is one of the huge group in the world. So anytime that you go to a hotel or you're traveling for fun, always ask, do you have any airline staff discount? Very often, just by showing your rate card, you'll have 50% on hotel. The same for restaurants. The same for car rentals. Really, you know, don't hesitate to ask if you have an airline discount. Because we do have airline discount everywhere in the world. There's also sites like My ID 90. So what is it, My ID 90? It's basically that you have 90% discount on airlines. And there's other sites like ID Traveler, TripCheck.com also. There's also all kinds of discount, hotel discount. I use Hotwire a lot. Especially in the United States and even in Europe. They have in Europe. Hotwire is a pretty cool one. There's Hotel.com, Hotel Tonight. There's also a very cool one. It's Priceline. You bid for your hotel. You know, you can just like bid before and to show how up to which amount are you willing to bid for this hotel. And very often, you know, you could have like a 5 stars hotel for $80 or $100 a night, you know. There's also some new application for your phone, for your smartphone, like Kayak. Kayak will give you like all kinds of stuff, like from car rental, hotel, anything, you know, related. And of course, the very popular one that everybody knows, the Airbnb. Those one you could have either renting a room in a house or renting the entire house. The one that we know very well in the airline industry are the Dargale.com. Dargale.com is more like for cruise. You know, you can imagine there's the people who have lots of money to spend on this big expensive boat, but sometimes, you know, the boats are like 9 floors, so you can imagine that they're spending big bucks expecting that the boat will be full of beautiful people. And guess who the beautiful people are?
Flight attendant.
No, but we have this privilege to have very often cruise at 1/10 of the price, you know, and Dargale is a very good website for that. You need to fill up your profile, put your employee number, and I'm telling you, we're talking about a cruise that are $300 a week, and for $500 you have the suite with the ocean view, and $600 you have the master suite, you know, so it's a pretty good deal. We prefer to have the boat full than empty, you know. They want the business back from the full fare passengers. So Also, perks.com, Intraline, it's an Intraliner, it's a very good one. There's very popular Facebook pages now, and I will send you these links, one of them being Airline Staffer Interline. Yesterday I checked this page, it's like 168,000 people on that page following, and flight attendants that are talking of all kinds of deals, from the Maldives Island to Phuket to any destination in India. It's very diversified. I also find something called 30,000 feet, and this is like an aviation directory. They have everything from the insurance to pictures of aviation, to cruise, to travel, to airline discount, what to do in town. Very cool website. Now they're launching this new application. They have a new application. It's like a thermal, social application called CrewMe. So CrewMe is telling you who's in town from other airlines. You could have your profile with pictures, and then you could meet with other crew into bars or restaurants, wherever you want to take this. In terms of budget traveler, there's very cool stuff also. Couch surfing. Couch surfing is if you want to crash on a couch somewhere in someone's house for less money, And there's also, of course, we know the Airbnb, but the Red Week. There's the timeshare rental also if you want to share these time sharing. There's really Escape. There's home swapping. That's very interesting. Of course, it doesn't include the spouses, it's just a house that you swap. But also like a travel buddy, find a travel partners, find travel partners and travel buddies. There's also Find a Crew by Nautical. That is very cool application, and website Facebook pages. So I'm telling you, we have quite a large world. And if you Google airline staff rate, you will see there's lots of pages of information, of discount for you to surf. So maybe should we take some questions?
We do have a question about being on leave. So have the service award passes been removed from employees on long-term disability? Since the new travel allotment was changed, my service award passes have been removed. So I'm trying to find the information on that for if we have access during the leave, but I can fill in a little bit. For somebody who's on leave of absence for reasons of illness or injury, there has been a change in the company policy. So as of April 1st, 2015, they no longer have access to unlimited passes. You have your unlimited passes for an entire year, so for 365 days. If your leave of absence goes longer than that, so on day 366, your unlimited passes are removed from your, they're blocked from your file, and you have up to 3 passes available to you and your the people on your profile, so your spouse, common law, or nominated partner, and your dependent children. So it depends on when the day 366 falls. There are 3 different periods during the year, so from January to April, April to July, I think. January to April, May to August, and September to December. So if your day 366 falls between January and April, you'll receive all 3 passes. If it falls between May and August, you will only receive 2 passes for the year. And if it falls between September and December, you will have 1 pass allotted to you for that year. So it should be available on EPUB, the travel policy for leave of absence for injury and illness. And just a reminder for those of you who are using these passes, you must have fitness for travel. So you fill out the form and you get all the required documents, and please make sure that you submit it in time for it to be processed. So they require at least 3 days before you are planning to travel. So if you make sure that all your documents are in order and you have everything you need, your travel should go very smoothly. But we're all seasoned travelers, so we all know that.
Okay. Next question.
The next question is, so just to come back to that one, we'll try and be more specific on if the service award passes are removed from your profile. In the meantime, we will ask, somebody said, back when service charges were applicable, were the taxes based on the amount of the service charge, or are all fees, taxes a flat rate?
Well, it's a very good question, because I think it differs from country, because right now, especially the people who are commuting from the Bahamas, for example, or in the United States, because your fee is 0, then there's tax that are disappearing. If your fee was $1, we would pay taxes. So it differs from country. But to answer your question, since that we have a 0, well, it's at our advantage on some country like Mexico, Bahamas, United States. But of course, we have the airport improvement fee. At one point, improvement will be over. We would hope.
That's it for questions. So please keep sending your questions in the comment bar if you want.
Okay, so in the meantime, I could tell you about other, there's a very popular employee travel Facebook page called the Facebook group Employee Travel Tips. There's around 30,000 posts and tips and discount advice on that page. But again, I will send you that into my bulletin. We'll craft a very nice bulletin for the information. Also, some things that I forgot maybe to mention is the dress code. Of course, when you travel on your pass, you cannot wear shorts. It's unfortunate. I haven't printed the dress code, but I know that now they are tolerating jeans, for example, and a polo shirt. They don't want to have the t-shirt or the tank top. I'm not too sure about the tank top, but there's something with the t-shirt. It has to be either a polo shirt. And jeans must be, of course, clean, presentable, no Speedos or sandals or anything like that, Okay. Okay, so there's other websites, that are available. Facebook staff rates, Intraliner also, that is a very interesting one. And the ID Traveler, the Travelocity. Oh yeah, that's the one that I use very often. Travelocity.com. Sometimes when you don't know how to reroute yourself, let's say we want to go to Prague. Okay, now we have a Rouge Warsaw flight, but to destinations that are not easy to go. And that you don't know which pass to buy, go to travelocity.com or .ca.
For everyone else who's not French Canadian, he means Travelocity.
Travelocity, Travelocity.co.com, and you could input your flight, from the flight departure to your destination, and this is like an agent that will give you all the possibility with different price, So of course the highest price will be all the direct flight, but then when you lower the price, then there's the combination. So okay, you're going to fly from Toronto to Frankfurt on Lufthansa, you will go to Prague on another carrier. So now you know that who's going there. So then you have to go back into the other airlines and you check if any of these airlines are part of this agreement, and then you could start buying a ticket. So sometimes what you don't know, this is very convenient. And of course they have a discount like cars, and so you could compare price, because it's the same thing if you input that you want a car in a country, then they're going to give you all the providers. So you'll be able to see differences in terms of price. So it's a very cool tool to have when you're traveling.
Okay, so we have another question about the service charges. So regarding the elimination of service charges, when were they first eliminated?
They were eliminated at the conclusion of this, I think it was effective at January 2016. that's when the charges were removed this year, at the beginning of this year.
So because we signed the new contract
Yes.
in October, they couldn't change the travel profile for that year, so it had to wait till the new refresh for January. So as of January 2016, the service charges were eliminated. So maybe check your history to see that was done.
And also, they're pretty. Look at your profile, because sometimes you use a pass and they deduct two, especially the gold one pass. They will deduct two. So don't be shy. There's a phone number. You call that number and you explain the situation. And it happened to me before, and they're just putting it back into your profile. They will check. They'll be able to see where you have been flying, and sometimes mistakes happen. But every time that it happened to me in the past, they correct it right away.
Yeah, they're really good.
Yeah.
We just wanted to remind everybody that we have a new app at Air Canada.
Yes.
You might have noticed, I think it was on Globe or The Daily or something. It's called ETA for employee travel. So you might want to download that onto your phone and your devices, and it's an extra way for us to see the standby list in real time. So you can really see what your chances of getting on or not are.
So you will find this application. It's on the portal. I think it's on the first page. Look for on the sidebar. You have a new app, because I think in the future we'll have more than one. So there's already link for app, and you will find how to download it into your system.
So the app allows you to see not only if you're going to get on the flight, but if you have one of the passes that has a J after the slash, then you can see what your chances are of getting in business class are as well. And also it gives you opportunities to see other flights that you could use as an alternate in case your flight is full and you're not going to get on. So it's a great tool that we can use now.
Yeah, and for those of you who are new flight attendants, first welcome again. And be careful, when you travel. Give yourself enough time, especially if you're traveling in Europe during the summer. Give yourself a day or two before and after, because you never know. You can be stuck at your destination. And I call it the open door, coming back from Europe, London. First, because we have many flights from London, very often because there's misconnection in London. And when it happened, there's 100 seats that are open on a flight, or even 20. And there's lots of no-show out of London. And very often the flight attendants are not inclined to go through London because there's very expensive taxes, like $72. But if you see that there's no way to coming back, London is always a good door to go back to wherever your destination is in Canada. So remember that London is a good door, especially in the summer.
Okay.
Any more questions?
Nope, not that I see.
Okay.
Can you repeat where to find the new standby app? So it's in the daily.
It's also in the portal. I downloaded from the portal. If you log into the portal, I think it's on the left side.
Usually
I'm not too sure if it's on the first page but it's on the left side. You will see app, and you click on app. Or you should have a check for that. I'm sorry, but you know what? We'll put in our document. It's on the left side. You click on app, and the app is inside. And then it will show you how to download it, and you'll be able. It's easy. You put it onto your mobile phone, and it tells you where you are, where.
So there's the new Air Canada App Store. That's right. The Air Canada App Store has opened up. So if you go on the portal on the Air Canada App Store, you'll see it there. It's ETA. It has like a little. It looks like a tail with the logo on it.
Yeah, this is the Air Canada tail.
So it says in the daily, it said that there would be a Yam Jam date and time, so people can give suggestions. If you've used the app and there are things that you would like to see in this app, you can give suggestions, and they're going to consider all the suggestions to make the app even better than it is now. So that's good.
So is there any other questions?
If one has been overcharged and have not been reimbursed properly, credit card company claims did not receive any credit, where should I go in order to remedy the situation? It's been ongoing for about 6 months.
Well, there's a phone, let me see in the profile where to call, and it's the same phone number that you need to call for if you don't have the proper allotment or in your passes profile. I will get you this phone, this number, okay? I'm gonna take a note of that, and we'll add the phone number, where to call, and also where to get the app. So again, for the junior that are joining us, make sure that if you decide to travel this summer, buy multiple passes on other carriers. You will find that in other airlines. The beauty that we have is that your passes on other airlines will be charged to your credit card, but all the passes that you don't use when you come back, you could go back into your profile and refund, and there you go. Anything that you haven't used, you will be refunded.
Okay, so we have another question. Are there any options to have friends fly in J with you, other than your nominated partner?
Well, the new option is the C1. The C1, that's the beauty, the beauty of this new pass, the thank you pass, allows you to register a companion with you. And if you're smart and you look at the load, chances are that you will get business class. So yes, now it's possible, because it was never possible to us to get a partner, a buddy with us, unless the flight is full and there's no other seats available, then chances are you will get it. But this is a very slim chance. Very often they will upgrade the full fare revenue or the elite or super elite at the back before. But to answer your question, yes, now it's great, because this new C1 before when we had C1, it was C1 for the employees only. The parents were never on the C1. But this one, at least for us, and this one allows you to either put your mother, father, spouse, children, as long as the children are above 12 years of age, but also a companion. So that's why the pilots, they like that one.
Okay, so we have a question from a new flight attendant. I'm a new flight attendant. What is the portal? How do we access it? And when can we start using our passes?
Well, okay, that's
a good question.
That's a good question that we we think that everybody knows how to access the portal. So I apologize. I wish I would have had time to prepare some slides for you to be able to show you that, but we didn't have time for that. But you know what? I will in the email put the information how to access the portal, and in the portal you will see, once you're logged on, you will see employee travel to the right. Then you click on employee travel and you will have access to your profile. So let me put that in an email. I will put all the how to get there. You go onto myaircanada.ca. The myaircanada.ca will bring you to our front page. This is a secure page. Of course, you have to initiate your page with your employee numbers. Employee numbers is with the letter A and C in front, capital A, capital C, and 6-digit number. If you do not have 6-digit, put a 0 at the front, and then your password, and then you will be entering the portal. But I will put all that information for you, and on the right-hand side, you will see the employee travel site. Question?
Okay, so just to reiterate, on the portal, once you've signed in, it's on the first page. If you just scroll down, it says Tools, Forms, and Policies, and you just click on App
Stores.
So
yeah, we'll put that there.
You should access it from your phone if you want to download it on your phone, because it's prompting you, please access this page from your mobile device so that you can download it directly onto the device.
I think Dominic is trying to upload a page right now. I can see. Yeah.
Oh, there you go.
Thank you, Dominic. Yeah, so this is the page, but we're going to do some pages for you. You'll be able to find out. Question?
So did you answer when she can start using her passes?
If you're
new
a new hire, you can use your past 6 months from the day that you were hired. So from the day that you start your initial training, 6 months later, then your passes will be uploaded into your system.
Michelle, did you want me to show quickly?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, no, that was great.
Okay, quickly tell me if you're seeing the right. Are you seeing the Air Canada website right now?
Not yet. It took some 30 seconds. Now we see it. So there's the web page. You could either go to aircanada.ca and there's a direct link also. If you do my.aircanada.ca, you'll get to the same page. So what Dominic is doing now is to signing in. We're on your Dominic, we're not on the right page here. Okay. And then on the right-hand side, you will accept, to allow the in-flight system to bring you to the portal page. Sometimes it takes a while, but this is the page. And then on the right-hand side, sometimes you have these box that will appear that will allow Air Canada portal. So you click allow.
Maybe in the meantime, while that's loading, somebody said they might have missed the answer, but when I retire soon, it says soon, I'm not saying that, it says soon, can I still use my special C1s?
If you are retiring, if you're talking about special C1 that were granted to you because you have worked on Christmas and New Year's in 2015, you are able to take it in this year with you in retirement if you retired this year in 2016.
Anyone who retires after 2016 will not have this ability. It's because it happened so late in the year, and we weren't able to give people the information before they bid for working New Year's or Christmas Day. Yeah. So the company was very nice, and they allowed everybody who retires in 2016 to bring those into retirement with them. But it's a 1 year. It's a 1 year deal. And
just to make sure that you do not call the special passes the thank you pass, because if it's what you're talking about, these two thank you pass that are granted to us every year, you cannot carry it over into retirement, and you cannot carry it over into the next year. So if you're about to let's say, retired in 2017 June, well, I would suggest that you should use the 2C1 prior to June. So maybe, Dominic, you want to go back, okay? So if you want to explain that, do you want to go back one page just from the portal? We could explain. Okay, so here's the portal. Okay, so this is the portal, the page, the main page, my aircanada.ca. You put your Air Canada employee number and your password. Then it will upload this page. This page is the first page of the main portal. And so see now the page is uploading, and on your right hand side here, you see employee travel. What Edith was talking earlier, tool, and performance here, it's the app. You will see the app. So here you click agree. Agree will take you into your profile. So if you want to click agree, Dominic, okay, going back now. Okay, so this is your profile. Here you will get my flight, my booking, my travel history, my profile, And here, the news and policy, that's where I was telling you earlier that you will find all the agreement if you go in this, this page. My profile, you will get all your profile, your family profile, your spouse, if you have someone registered, if you're married, all your profile will be there. You could also change your password there if you want. Your travel history is all your previous flight that you've been flying on Air Canada. You will find that information there with the cost and everything. In My Booking, you could review your trip. You could do the advanced passengers information if you are going to United States. You could do check-in. You go into check-in, you check in your flight, then you answer all the question, and then at the end, the system will ask you, well, would you like to print your boarding pass? Would you like to send an email? Or would you like to SMS your boarding card? Most of us have smartphones, so we SMS our boarding card with a bar code, and that's how you just enter the flight. You just show your barcode with an identity, and there you go. You're on board the flight. It's pretty cool. It's like it's fascinating at the speed that we can register ourselves and just jump on the flight, really quickly. You send your boarding code to your phone, and there you go. You're going to the Bahamas on standby. You never know. Question?
So we had another question about if I retire within the next 2 years, do I still have access to the special C1s?
No, you will have to use all your C1s before you retire.
Okay, so I'm a new hire from phase 1. We're supposed to get our passes on July 15th. How feasible will it be for me to commute from Montreal to Toronto as a new hire with a low seniority? Should I be looking for other options?
Well, I think you give yourself enough advance, and I'm assuming that you are a mainline. I don't know if you're a mainline or a Rouge, but if you are a mainline, there's a list of Commuter for which you could put your name on. You have to prove that you were able to register yourself to flight your showtime time. So there is this option. Or I think you have to monitor weathers. There's lots of people that are in Montreal. As you know, there's the snowstorm very often in the winter. And that's the inconvenience of commuting. Well, you have to leave the night before. You might not be on the 6 o'clock flight, those are business flight, but if you might be on the 9 o'clock or the 10 o'clock. So you learn to do that. We have lots of commuters. Sometimes you leave in advance. Sometimes you could have tried the earliest flight, if it's wide open. You'll be able to monitor the load. Also, on our profile, we can see how many people, how many seats, you see type of aircraft, how many seats available per category, so business class or economy, and you see how many people are ahead of you. And so now with this new app also, you will have even more information, but you're able to gauge, okay, this is too full, it's minus 20 on the previous flight. So you know that all these people will not get on. It's going to fall on the other. So there's no need for you to go to the airport. Either you take a later flight, one of the latest, or you leave the day before, or you take the 6 a.m. But again, you have to monitor the loads. But it's feasible. There's lots of people that are doing it.
All attendees are muted and may unmute themselves by pressing *6.
They have tricks or whatever, or maybe start monitoring right now to see if the times and days that you would like to go back and forth, if you would be able to get on or not. And Michel spoke to we have a commuter policy, and he's right. You have to be able to show that you are trying for 2 flights, but you have to make sure that those are 2 flights that have actual seats and would be available for you to travel. So the policies in the current collective agreement, if you look it up, it will give you the conditions. You have to sign up as an official commuter at the comm center. And so once you're on the list for the commuter list, you have to abide by the conditions of the policy, but it's there to protect you a little bit if you are trying to commute and are unable to. But again, you have to show that you tried 2 flights that you could actually have open seats on.
And also, you know, within that program, well, you would lose the credit also. So you will not be paid for your flight. You will not get a credit. So something to consider also, because
oh, you mean there's no pay protection?
There's no pay protection. Exactly. So in the end,
so if you miss a flight because you respected all of the commuter policy guidelines, then you're right, there's no pay protection. But if you miss a flight and you didn't have enough flights to get on or whatever, then that becomes unfortunately a no-show, like somebody who would just not show up at work. So make sure that you plan ahead and you know exactly what the commuter policy rules and guidelines are. And
check the weather also. It's good to know. Any other questions?
I think Dominic is trying to open up the mics for everybody. So he's saying that please keep your mic off. The mic is the little on the tab list at the front. Oh, God, I can't speak. Yeah. At the top, it says mic, cam, all of that. Just unmute your mic and press *6 to unmute your phones. So you guys are open. If anybody wants to ask a live question, please.
Catherine said, thank you for the information. A pleasure. We know it's a subject that lots of people have questions. And as I mentioned, until we have a question, we'll prepare a nice PDF with all the information that we have of all the websites and the hotel websites and all the discounts and the staff rates that is available to us with the information that we have provided to you today.
Okay, so you can go ahead and unmute your mic if you want to ask a question.
My screen is frozen.
Okay, well, we have a sidebar question then. Any info on getting listed for Z flights?
Yes, I was talking earlier, you know, when you have a Z flight, there is My ID Travel Z fare that you can register on, or ID C. You have that information, you know, when you go in other carriers, so other airlines, meaning the Z fare, you will get that information. You know, they show you how first you have to register like we do on our regular flight, but then they will give you this address, and I will put it in the document for you. Each websites, they have a different company, like My ID Travel have Lufthansa, Thai Air, Delta, Qantas, and much more. But for example, in-flight C ID90, you can register KLM, American Airlines, Alaska, and United Airlines. But I will put it in my PDF for you guys to find out where to register. And trust me, this is very important, okay? You don't want to wait. You need to register yourself on the flight. It doesn't matter if you miss the flight, as long as you're in the system, because then you're going to arrive. You will have your reservation of your other line tickets. But if you're not registered on the flight, the ticket agent will not add you. You will arrive to these side counter, you know, help desk, and they will say, have you made your reservation? Have you listed yourself on this flight? And you say, no. Well, they're going to say, go get yourself a computer and list yourself. So you know, sometimes you know how you arrive from Toronto, Montreal, or Vancouver. You just cross the Atlantic. You have a very tight connection. And guess what? You forgot to list yourself on the flight. You're not going to get on. So it's very important to list your flight on these flights. And even if you're not, if you take one that is an hour later, it doesn't matter. You're already in the system. They will be able to move you to the next flight. But I will give you that information on how to do it.
And you know what? It's always worth a try too. Like you could be looking at the website at home and the flights seem full, or there's always a percentage of no-shows on flights. So you know what? It's always worth a try. Sometimes you'll end up getting on when you never expect to, and just starts your trip off really nicely. So sometimes it's worth just showing up to make sure that you never know. A whole group of people could misconnect, and that could be your lucky day.
Yeah, that's exactly, like especially in London, it happens often. There's flights from India, misconnection, boom, 20 seats open.
Okay, we now have another question. If other airline is not on My ID Travel, can we still buy paper ticket like we used to?
Most of the airlines are going electronic now. It's easier. I don't know if you remember, even at Air Canada, we used to have these. It's like an old thing, you know. Like, it shows that we're not that young anymore. We had this paper, like with the red carbon inside, you know, the carbon copy. Those were like very expensive. I think they're $14 a ticket to produce, you know. So can you imagine? And then we were carrying like 10 tickets, and then 8 of them you don't use, and you come back to the counter, you get them refunded, and you throw everything in the garbage. So now more and more the airlines are going electronically. You have your reservation. You don't even need to print a copy now. I take a snapshot of the document, and you just leave it into your phone or into your laptop, so you have everything with you. So I think that to answer the paper tickets are disappearing, but you could always print your copy.
So we have another question. Is there a way to check available seats on those flights that are weight restricted? So I don't know the answer to that, but I'm going to look into it right now and see if we can answer you before we're done.
Are you talking on the Air Canada, or are you talking on the other carrier? If you're talking on the other carrier, yes, I do have an application for that. AC, okay, Edith is checking on that. We are texting to find out the answer right now. But on other carrier, there's a very cool one. There's a non-revenue check-in, and it's like $20 per year to register. And most of the airlines are on that system. And what you're going to see is a happy face, flat face, and sad face. And I think that the happy face have like 15% open. So when there's a happy face, it always works. When there's a flat face, the yellow one, it's like red, yellow, and a green. So the green is the happy face, of course. The yellow flat face has 50% seats open, and the sad face, the red, of course. So don't even bother to reroute yourself to this destination. It's very accurate. But if there's a flat face, you'll see there is time that there's no way to come back or to cross the Atlantic. And it becomes very useful to know, okay, am I going to London, Frankfurt, Zurich? Where am I going? So this system, it's pretty useful in a very busy time.
Okay, that makes sense. I got a little bit of information. Weight restricted flights depend on a bunch of variables. So, you know, the cargo that they're carrying, the amount of fuel that they have on board, based on what route they're taking. If they have to go around weather, they're going to need more fuel, which means more weight, which means less available passenger weight, I guess. So this information isn't available until before the flight is ready to leave.
Yeah.
So it makes sense because I've never seen the number of seats vary. It's the number of seats on board the aircraft, and at the time of boarding, that's when they decide if there's a weight and balance issue. So the number of seats available would not vary based on that. It would unfortunately be at the gate that you would learn that the agents would just say the flight is closed, and that would be it. So no, there's no way to predict a weight and balance flight. Although, I mean, some of our flights are weight and balanced regularly, but there's no way of knowing until you get to the flight.
Yeah, excellent. Other questions?
Can one's designated partner be eligible to use Z fares?
That's a good question. Designated partner. I do not know the answer. I will find out. I think,
I thought they always had to travel with us, but
if they're traveling with you, okay, there's two things. It depends on the carrier and depends on the Z fare agreement. And you could find this answer into the new policy. You will see the Z fare agreement, because sometimes, despite being part of the alliance, and I will give you an example, for spouses, normally you would think that they recognize spouses, but I had a problem at one point with Turkish Air, they recognize spouses, men and women, and they don't recognize spouses, same-sex spouses. So guess what? They're part of the alliance. It should be the same agreement for all, but it's different country and different religious background also. And this is something that they are not granting despite being part of the alliance. So check the Z-Fair agreement. I will try to answer your question in our communication. Any question that we are not able to answer, we will answer you, but I would check in the agreement.
I believe we've answered or attempted to anyway, answered all the questions on the sidebar.
Excellent. Listen, so to recap, we will send you all the information that we have provided to you, and I have this extreme long list, that I didn't mention all the websites. We have more, and so we'll provide you that list, and welcome on board for those of you who are new, and enjoy the summer. Make sure that you bring lots of passes with you to come back, to be on time for work. And thank you for attending today this webinar, and thank you for watching us after. As you know, these webinars are recorded, and also we're trying to get all kinds of interesting subject. Very soon, I would like to do one on the trip trade system. As you know, the trip trade system is coming. Very soon, ASEX will be meeting to negotiate the language, and I want to do a webinar on that. But if you have any suggestions that you would like us to do a webinar, please send it to us, and we will be more than happy to present this.
I just wanted to say we're pretty lucky to work for Air Canada and airlines in general. Travel is one of the reasons why people, stick around, so the lifestyle, the traveling, all of these reasons are reasons why we chose the airline industry. So we're extremely lucky and grateful for our travel privileges. Yes. And we hope that you guys take full advantage of them. Yeah.
Thank you, and thank you again, and happy flying, and see you soon, guys. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.